Dakota, that's not even like the worst Lego to step on. You know that, right?
Oh, it isn't? Hello, and welcome back to Tier List Tuesday, the show where we rank things that don't need ranking.
If you're a human in the 21st century, or probably the 20th, and most likely the 22nd, you've probably stepped on a Lego and felt the fire of the gods shoot through your foot.
And if you haven't, you should probably buy a lottery ticket, because you're very lucky.
Even if you've stepped on a Lego, you may not have had it as bad as you could have.
That's right, because not all Lego bricks are built the same. And by the same, I mean equally painful to step on. So that's why today we're on a mission to determine which Lego brick you'd most want to avoid with your foot. Adrian, what's on our tier list today?
In the S tier, we have 911. I really hope we don't have to put anything in this category today because we're in America and ambulances are expensive.
Step on an A tier Lego and your life might flash before your eyes.
And in the B tier, we have hop on one foot. It hurts, but I hear the cure is clenching your teeth and sucking in a little air.
Oh.
You okay?
Yeah, I was just practicing. Curse your kids out. Look, if you're a parent, your kids are bound to leave some toys lying around. And if you step on them, you might have the urge to say, God damn it, Dakota, stop leaving your Legos everywhere on the floor. Why can't you be more like your older sister?
And in the D tier, we have, was that a tickle?
And finally, F tier. You can have a foot massage as a treat. These guys are actually kind of nice to step on. But before we get to the rankings, it's time to do some science. The first step, pardon the pun, was to narrow down the options to a more manageable amount. About a month ago, I got myself a LEGO Classics box, poured them out on the floor, and proceeded to step on each piece one by one.
And I watched.
After the foot-reddening process of stepping on Legos for an hour, I narrowed it down to 7 finalists. The 4x1 brick with side pegs, the 2x2 brick, the 1x1 brick, the 2x4 mud guard with a hole, this arched 2x1x1, these very stabby looking pieces that are apparently teeth, and finally, a bunch of minifigure legs. We also decided to get some 1x1 flat tiles as a control group because they were by far the easiest to walk on. Then I ordered 1,000 of each piece to build the ultimate Lego test bed, and they never arrived. So yesterday I went to the Lego store and basically cleaned out their pick-a-brick wall to make the almost ultimate Lego test bed.
Which brings us to today. We've brought in a panel of willing volunteers to walk across our very scientific piles of Legos.
And we've rigged up a decibel meter to record the volume of their reactions as they walk across each.
We'll also be taking their opinions into account and using the power of math to determine our rankings. But like, I kind of feel bad for like everyone that has to do this.
You know, we're walking across these too.
What?
First up, we have the 1x1 tile, our control group, pretty much beloved by everybody.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. Easy peasy.
No one really had a hard time walking across this. It had an average score of 2 out of 10 in terms of the LPI, Lego Painfulness Index.
Stepping on this felt like what I imagine getting a fish foot massage is. That's a real thing, I swear.
You can have a little foot massage, as you said, as a treat.
Next, we subjected everyone to the 1x1 brick.
I thought this one was going to be a lot more painful than it was. It has a lot of sharp edges and it's very small, so it can easily get stuck in the crooks of your foot. But nobody thought it was the worst one. Nobody thought it was the best one.
I expected worse.
With an aggregate score of 3.93 out of 10, very much falls like right in the middle of the pack. This is your pretty standard Lego brick.
Okay, that's not too bad.
With an aggregate score of 3.31, this came in even below the 1x1. It has 4 times as much surface area and a little less pain.
Next up, we had the tooth. As soon as I saw this brick, I knew that if I hit any one of these ridges or points, it was gonna go straight into my heel, and it did.
Oh! With an aggregate score of 5.95 out of 10, this guy goes right in the A tier. Then our brave testers took their chance, stepping on a pile of the 2x1x1 with Arch. Really not a very catchy name, but that's what this guy is. This piece has a lot of sharp edges and corners on it, which we kind of knew going in was definitely going to make it a top contender.
My foot will remember it because it has the most unique shape out of all the ones we tested today.
It had an average score of 4.9 out of 10, making it our first Lego in the B tier.
When I first saw this piece today, I thought it was going to create some sort of suction ability on everyone's foot because of the holes. That's just my imagination running wild. There was no suction, at least to the naked eye.
When it comes to building, this brick is actually super useful because it lets you make right angles, cantilevers, things like that. When it comes to stepping on, this brick is not very useful. It's painful. Very chunky, lots of places to step, but I think the size of it and the number of pegs on it actually kind of served to distribute the weight over the brick and made it less painful than some of the other options. In terms of pain, this barely squeaked even into C tier, where it stands.
Up next, we have the 2x4 mud guard. As soon as I saw this spread out across the floor, I knew it was going to be one of the hardest ones to step on, simply because of the way how it's distributed with its space. There is a gap in between the two risen up sections.
I think that we had some of our loudest reactions.
Oh my god! Ah, no. Oh my god. Ow.
And highest scores on this mud guard here. A bunch of these pieces actually stuck to each other, kind of making a weird, like, amalgamation, General Grievous style Lego monster, which added tons more points of contact to the potential stabbiness of this Lego. I think this is the one that left the longest lasting feeling in my foot. With a score of 6.14, we put this in the A tier. I knew we had to put some part of a minifigure in here, and I tested the hands, the arms, the legs, the torso, and the head. All of them came up shy of this guy right here. There are so many things to step on this, and they just get bent in all directions. Half of them were doing splits on the floor, the other half were bent over backwards, legs sticking every which way. It looked like total carnage. It looked like there had been a Lego massacre.
Oh shit! Oh my god, no.
With a score of 6.68 out of 10, this goes at the top.
And that puts the legs as the only brick in the S tier.
So there you have it, our rankings for the most painful Legos.
But before we can conclusively say that the legs are the worst, I have to tell you a tale of something else that happened. While cleaning up the bricks at the end of our testing, a wild part happened to fall out of the overflowing jar of Legos. I didn't notice until it was too late, and I had stepped squarely onto a brick separator. Somehow, I felt like I was being stabbed in 9 places at once, and I think I saw the face of God.
And so, without a doubt, overriding all of our testing that we did today, the most painful Lego piece is still the pants.
Yeah, the brick separator felt weird and it was painful, but seriously, screw the pants. I'll take 100 brick separators before that. This goes in the A tier.
Thank you all so much for joining us on this journey of scientific discovery. Let us know if you think we missed any important Lego bricks, and maybe we'll add them onto our list.
If you have anything you want us to rank, leave us a comment, and tell us a tale of the last time you remember stepping on a Lego brick.
And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, I'm Adrian.
And I am in pain.
You guys signed your waivers, right? You signed your waiver? You signed. I don't think she signed her waiver. I don't know if she signed her waiver.